Dr. Maurer, Board of Directors, my Federation family.
Yes, sir.
It is a high honor and humbling responsibility to accept your trust in me to serve as your president. The presidency of the Federation demands commitment, sacrifice, strength, energy, imagination, insight, and above all, love. And I pledge to give each of these fully. We expect our president to be our chief representative, our active builder, our firm negotiator, our savvy investor, our visionary collaborator, our thoughtful teacher, and our caring friend. And it is daunting to contemplate what learning lies ahead in order to meet each of those responsibilities. I am comforted by the reality that the members of the Federation have always been wise teachers in my life. Whether it was during the time that I was first learning Braille, the time that I was a young and relatively inexperienced affiliate president, the time that I spent improving services for blind children in the state of Wisconsin, the time that I was learning to manage life as a blind father, or during the entire time that I have served as executive director of our Jernigan Institute. And nearly 20 years ago, I was lost, filled with uncertainty, constantly questioning my next step, and fearful about my future. But that was before I met the National Federation of the Blind. I came to our national convention in California, and my life was changed forever. I made a commitment to myself that I would give back to this organization all that it has contributed to my life and more. Yet the more I contribute to our organization, the more I am humbled by the way that the Federation family continues to enrich my life and the lives of those I love. My first expression of commitment to the Federation was to write a letter to Dr. Maurer shortly after my first convention. And imagine my surprise when he actually wrote back to me. He accepted my enthusiastic expression of interest in building the Federation. He offered to help me learn. He challenged me to teach others, and he invited me to contribute my own ideas to our movement. I have tried to keep faith with that original commitment and Dr. Maurer's response. And in the beginning, what we shared was the faith in one another that is common among all of us in the Federation. To meet that commitment, I have done my best to rise to meet every new challenge that Dr. Maurer and our Federation have presented to me. And over time, my work to build the Federation has expanded that faith into trust and love and a shared set of experiences which bind me to this movement in a way that only active members of the Federation can understand. And with your trust, I now have the challenge of building on our accomplishments under Dr. Maurer's presidency. And I am grateful that he continues to have the strength, health, energy, and wisdom to help me meet that challenge. I cherish the opportunity to continue working closely with Dr. Maurer in the years ahead as I continue that commitment I first made 18 years ago. And just as I will require his help as I learn about the presidency, so will I require yours. In this moment, the only way that I know to appropriately thank Dr. Maurer, Mrs. Maurer, and the thousands of other members of the Federation who have built this foundation we stand on and who have given of themselves to make our life better is to build our Federation with the same love and determination they have demonstrated.
Yes.
With my pledge of commitment, I invite each of you to express your gratitude to Dr. Maurer by being an active contributor to the next great phase of our movement, and to answering the call to help me to fulfill the promise we make to one another. Together, with love, hope, and determination, we transform dreams into reality. Thank you.
shorter. Are there further nominations from the floor? Are there further nominations from the floor?
Move nominations be closed.
Are there further nominations from the floor?
Nominations.
Been moved and seconded. Nominations be closed. Fred Shorter be elected to the office of first vice president by acclamation. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. He's elected.
Thank you, fellow federations. I joined this organization 40 years ago, and for all of that time, my federation family has stood with me. And as a result, I have been able to live an active, productive life. But there are far too many blind children today who still receive a substandard education. There are too many blind adults who are unemployed, not because of lack of ability or lack of a work ethic, but because of low expectations. There are still too many seniors sitting home in isolation and loneliness. We have much to do. We need to share our federation with every blind person. As long as you will have me as first vice president, working alongside our president-elect, soon to be assuming the role of president, Marc Riccobono, I can tell you that I am pleased and honored to be able to serve with him as he takes all that we have built, all the success that has come from our collective effort, and takes us even farther. Thank you, my Federation family.
The nominating committee has placed a nomination for the office of second vice president in the name of Ron Brown. Are there further nominations from the floor? Are there further nominations from the floor? Are there further nominations from the floor?
Move nominations cease.
The move and second nominations be closed that Ron Brown be elected to the office of second vice president by acclamation. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, he's elected.
Dr. Maurer, my Federation family, you think about a lot that you want to say at this time, and you try to come up with the most profound thoughts that you can. However, everything I thought about saying at this point doesn't even measure up to how I feel about this organization. And you, Dr. Maurer, is our president, and Marc Riccobono is our president-elect. The journey that I have taken with you, Dr. Maurer, being my mentor, because in 1975, I was shot in the face and blinded, and I lost my vision. And as an African-American male, I was lost. But Dr. Maurer was our state president at the time. What a great mentor to have. What a mentor to have when you're on a journey that you cannot even begin to know which way to turn. But he took me by the hand literally and walked me down the path of independence, walked me to the path of security, down the road to equality, and opened the doors of opportunity for me, and I thank you for that, sir. I give you a tutelage, Dr. Maurer. I have been able to grow in this organization, and it has given me so much, and I appreciate the Federation and the Federation family, because not only has it become a way of life, a way in life, it's a way of life for me, sir. And that's what I use every day in the life that I lead, to go from a young African-American male to rise to the executive board of the National Federation of Blind. You see, the one thing you taught me, sir, in this organization is that it wasn't about blackness, it wasn't about blindness, it's about whiteness, it's about blindness. And we kept the focus, sir, on blindness. And that's how we were able to continue. It's a diverse group, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all of your work. And as you pass the torch to our President-elect, Dr. Marc Riccobono. We know that that flame is not dim, but it burns bright, and that's my truth of the National Federation of Blind.
Well, I have a vague memory of it, and I remember a lot that came after that. The nominating committee has placed in nomination the name of James Gashel for secretary. Are there further nominations from the floor? Are there further nominations from the floor? Are there further nominations?
Move nominations be closed.
Be elected by acclamation.
It has been moved and seconded, nominations be closed, and Jim Gash will be elected to the office of Secretary of the National Federation of Blind by acclamation. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. He is elected.
Thank you, fellow Federationists. As I rise to take the floor to accept this position once again, I'm filled with the sense that we're writing history here today. So, if you don't mind, just a moment of reflection. I first joined the National Federation of the Blind in 1965 and attended our convention in Washington, D.C. That was the 25th anniversary of the National Federation of the Blind. I was present. Well, let me just say that I missed one convention since. So this is my 49th convention. Next year will be number 50. I was present when Dr. Timbrook passed the torch to Dr. Journey. I met Dr. Timbrook. I'm one of the few in the room who met Dr. Timbrook. I did. I was president of the student division at that time, elected in 1967. I was present when Dr. Jernigan passed the torch to Marc Maurer. And what a great thing that has been. And now, I'm present again when Dr. Maurer passes the torch to Marc Riccobono. And what a great thing that will be. And 30 years from now, when Marc Riccobono passes the torch to somebody that's in the kids' camp, that person has been born, almost certainly, and you drive right down the hall in the kids' camp. Or she is. And what a great thing that will be. And I've learned a lot of things during all of those years, but one thing I know for sure. As Marc Riccobono accepts the mantle of leadership and a challenge to lead this organization into the future, we accept a special responsibility. He will lead, but he will also stand on our shoulders. Some of us are part of the outgoing generation, but I would say to our president-elect, we're not going away. We will be here. We will help you. And together, we will all succeed. Thank you.
The nominating committee has placed the name of Pam Allen in nomination for Are there further nominations from the floor? Further nominations from the floor? Further nominations from the floor?
I move nominations be closed.
It has been moved and seconded that nominations be closed for Pam Allen be elected to the office of Treasurer of the National Federation of Blind Nations. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, say no. Pam Allen.
Thank you, my Federation family, for this incredibly humbling honor. Steve Jobs said, "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you cannot do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some, because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. I am honored and blessed to be the treasurer of this incredible organization, where because of the work of all of our dedicated members, we are changing the world and helping blind people live the lives they want. I am grateful for your trust, your support, and most of all, your love. In the National Federation of the Blind, we know that through love, hope, and determination, we are transforming dreams into reality. To dream what is possible and to put oneself in service of that dream is the formula for a life well lived. I would like to take this moment to thank you, Dr. Maurer and Mrs. Maurer, personally. When I joined this organization in 1991, I was a national scholarship winner. It was my first convention, and Dr. Maurer likes to say I was suspicious. Without your faith, Dr. Maurer, your patience, your trust, and your loving example of service, I would not have this honor of serving in this organization. I am grateful. I am also looking forward to working with our President-elect and all of you to continue to change the world. Thank you.
All right, President Maurer.
All right. Give us a door prize for all those officers.
I'm going to do it for all the officers. We've got some macadamia nuts, the chocolates, macadamia nuts. I'm going to put with that a CD, sound and sight, and I'm going to give that to Patrick Thibodeau, Louisiana. Is he here? Okay, we got it.
The nominating committee has placed for board position 1 in nomination the name Amy Burrish. Are there other nominations from the floor? nominations be closed, that Amy Burridge be elected board position 1 by acclamation. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amy Burridge is elected.
Thank you, Dr. Maurer, fellow Federationists.
Now, tomorrow evening, we're going to have a banquet, as you know. We will have a portrait studio set up before and after the banquet. Those of you who are being elected are requested and required, this is not an option now, to step over to the portrait studio and get your picture taken. Gary Wonder wants to put you in a book. It is located across from the ballroom. Suzanne Schaefer is running it. And all the rest of you who want to go there, that's fine, but make sure the board members get there. For you, it might be optional, although I urge you to do it, but for the board, please make it. Now, we had a financial report this morning, and we have an audited financial. We designate one for each state. Jacobsen of New York. Further nominations? Are there further nominations? Are there further nominations on the floor? It has been moved and seconded that nominations be closed and Carl Jacobsen be elected to the board by acclamation. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. He is elected. Carl.
Thank you, fellow Federationists. I've been sitting here listening to my colleagues accept their elections, and it's become a more emotional moment for me than I thought. From the time we had the transition to Mr. Riccobono, from Dr. Maurer, to right now as we continue on in my re-election, I'm just struck by the power, the dedication, the spirit of our organization. There are many challenges that face us, many challenges that we have faced, but I know together we can change the world and change what it means to be blind. We pledge our support. I pledge my personal support and the support of my affiliate to Marc Riccobono as he takes office tomorrow. After the convention is over, we pledge our support in this struggle for equality. It's a long struggle, and every time we think we've gotten somewhere, new struggles pop up. I've noticed in the presidential report yesterday that we're keeping Dan Goldstein and Scott LaClark very busy. Because there are a lot more challenges that face us, but we are here to meet those challenges because we have no choice but to make life better for the next generation of blind people. The Federation has made my life better. I didn't know who I was until I found the Federation. I'm still learning who I am. Someday I'll grow up and learn who I really am. And then I don't know what I'll do after I learn who I am. However, the struggle to learn who I am and the joy of learning who I am has come through the National Federation of the Blind. We are all learning together, we are all struggling together, and it's a good journey to be on, because until I learned that, I don't think I was a full person. I've had the opportunity to become a full person. I'm thankful for my cane. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for all of us and all that we have achieved. I take nothing for granted in the field of blindness anymore because we have achieved it together. We won't achieve a thing without our unity. And I don't know how else to express it, because if I keep on talking, I'm going to find myself a little emotional now. This is a transition time. I remember one president said to another that the torch has been passed to a new generation of leadership. That torch is being passed at this convention. It's a good torch to pass. We have a tried and true president now, who will be still learning from a very, very seasoned, dedicated, experienced man. I don't think that Dr. Maurer said he's going away. Dr. Maurer will be there to advise us as a board, to advise Marc Riccobono as a new president, and we are thankful for that. We are thankful for the new leadership that we elected today, and we can't go anywhere but up. The
the choices are too scary to think of, were we to let it slip. We've come too far on our journey up the stairs. It was quoted yesterday, and I keep thinking of that speech. How it is at the top of the stairs. Go read it someday. Those challenges are out there for us again, and they're rearing their ugly heads. But together, we will nail them back down where they belong, under the rocks. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve you for 2 more years. Thank you for everything that you've given me as an organization, and thank the Federation. God bless the Federation. I can't close without saying one more thing. It's already been brought to me by Amy, it's been brought to me by James, and I can't think of one more thing to say except that we shall overcome. And we shall overcome. Poets always sing. We shall overcome someday. For deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. God bless you all.
For the final board position, the nominating committee has placed in nomination the name of Alpidio, Rolon, Puerto Rico. Are there further nominations from the floor? Are there further nominations from the floor? Are there further nominations from the floor? The motion has been made and seconded, nominations be closed, and Alpidio Rolon be elected to the board by acclamation. All those in favor indicate saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, Alpidio Rolon is elected.
Thank you, fellow Federationists. A while back, I read Ray Charles's autobiography. I was shocked to read that children at the blind school where he attended were separated by race, even though they were blind. I am proud to be a member of National Federation of the Blind and to serve the National Federation of the Blind, an organization that would not tolerate such situations. As a former soldier, although once a soldier, always a soldier, Mr. Riccobono, I will be in the front line with you and everyone else. Thank you.